A Day in the Life of Dennis Terrell. I think one of the most important things to deal with when you think about starting a relationship in anything in life is communication. And what a lot of people fail to realize is how you understand people. You might say one thing, but they hear something else. So it's your job to make sure you communicate right. Even if you're on the job and your boss tell you, okay, this is how I want something done. But if you can't hear the correct way, when you do the job, it's going to be wrong. So we need to learn to listen, learn to pay attention so we can hear everything, not hear what we want to hear. Some of you might be married and your wife or husband tell you something, but you choose to hear what you want to hear, or you choose not to listen. So you got to find an effective way to communicate with a person. One of the biggest problems is arguments happen because either a person don't understand what they're being told, or it's a breakdown of the communication. Now, how does that happen? Comprehension, understanding what a person is telling you, or maybe they delay the message in a wrong way, so you get offended. Now, if somebody is warning you or trying to tell you something to help you, and you misunderstand the message, and that's a problem. You always hear that term, "Don't kill the messenger." Well, maybe it's how you took the message, or maybe you couldn't handle the message. Now, that's not saying when somebody tell you something, they can't season their words with salt, but how you tell a person something and how they receive it are two different things. So when you communicate with a person, maybe you need to think to yourself, okay, when I tell this person something, how am I telling them? Am I telling it to them in a respectful manner, or I'm telling it to them in a disrespectful manner? If you tell it to them disrespectful, you ready for an argument. That's just what's going to happen. Think about how you want somebody to talk to you. And if you think about that, then you won't have any problems. I remember when I was younger, I would always get angry quick because I would not pay attention to what a person was telling me. Or I'd be sensitive because I only want to hear what I want to hear. And the older I got, I realized, wait a minute, maybe you need to listen. Maybe you need to understand exactly what a person is telling you. And if you do that, things will work well with you instead of you just flying off the handle. Sometimes just take time out and say, you know what, I'm going to really listen to what this person is telling me. And if you do that, it'll be better for you. We can always improve how we talk to people. We can always improve how we delay a message. And then we can always improve how we receive a message. You think people want to tell you things to hurt you? They want to tell you things that's going to help you, not hurt you. So you got to come up with ways to say, wait a minute. I got to think for myself and say, okay, I know this person not trying to hurt me. So I need to really listen to this person and really listen to what a person is saying. Now, that's not saying everybody in the world is for you. That's not a true statement. It's going to be people that's against you. That's just how it is. They're not going to like you because they don't like you. So when you run across those people, you can say, you know what? I'm going to stay away from them because I know they're going to be a problem. But you got to be able to read signs. And that's a whole nother conversation. Being able to read the signs. You should know if a person like you, and you should know if a person don't like you. That's where discernment come in, or common knowledge. That's all that is. So you want to come up with a way where you have safety mechanisms to understand, okay, this person don't mean me no good, or they mean me harm. So I need to avoid that situation. So it comes a point in your life where you use good judgment. But all that stems from learning how to listen, learning how to pay attention, learning how to talk to people. If you learn at a young age how to talk to people, you always have less problems in life. But if you always have to be right, like I said before, being dead right, you right, but the person you delaying the message to is miserable. What good is that? Sometimes you have to learn how to bend. There's no such thing as cut and dry in life. You have to learn how to compromise. You have to learn how to say, you know what, this is not even worth it. Sometimes you can avoid arguments by the type of person you are. You can avoid certain situations. So that's what you got to think about is what can I do to get along with people in life? And that's not saying it's meant for you to get along with everybody, but you can make your life easier. It's all about being realistic in life, making sure you're doing everything you can to stay away from trouble. A lot of times you get into a disagreement with a person and they'll kill you. That's just how it is. So instead of getting into a disagreement, if you learn how to communicate with them, you say, you know what, it's not even worth it. You know what, okay, I'm sorry you feel that way, but I'm going to keep it moving. Sometimes it's good to do that. Everything don't have to be handled defensively. You know, you get to a point where you start acting grown, start acting your age. If you in your late 20s or 30s and you still fighting in the middle of the street, something is wrong. That means you got bad people skills. You should, at a certain age, it should be a point where I'm above that. This is beneath me. You shouldn't be fighting in the middle of the street. You should be able to work out your differences like men, like young ladies. You shouldn't have to go over there and defend yourself just to get your point across. That makes no sense. It comes a time in your life where you have to grow up. That's just how it is. You have to say to yourself, you know what? This is not worth it. This conversation is not worth it. You know what? I'm going to step aside. I'm going to keep it moving. I come to a conclusion that me and you disagree, but we still can respect each other. Everybody don't have to agree on your feelings or how you feel about life. It don't have to be your way of life. People choose to live their life how they want to live their life. It's not your job to go and correct how people live. That's not your job. Your job is to come up with a way to move through life with less problems as possible. And part of that is having good communication. Learn how to communicate with everybody. You should have a global universal language where you can talk to everybody and get along with everybody. And it'll make your life a whole lot easier. This is a day and a life of Dennis Terrell. It's all about having better ways to communicate with people.